Oh
I
yeah.
really like that. I haven't enjoyed so much of his later horror films, but that thing, I love that damn movie, and I would work with him anytime. I'd love to work with Rob. So if Robert, if you are in your camp listening, find me, give me a call. You know to find me. I'm online. So,
Okay.
but it would be great fun because I love that stuff. I love what he's doing.
You know, the one I liked he did was called Cabin.
Cabin?
Yeah, Cabin is where they were out in the woods, a group of
Yeah,
people,
yeah.
and you know, like the demon,
Hmm.
appears, and it's just,
Oh yeah,
yeah,
no, is that like cabin in in the
yeah,
cabin in the woods and things?
yeah,
There's been a
yeah,
lot of those like
yeah,
that. Yes, that's such a great movie. Yeah,
yeah,
that's great fun, isn't it? Yeah.
yeah. It's one of those type movies I like watching at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. Then I can't sleep the rest of go to sleep after
Oh
that.
yeah. Well, my girlfriend and I, we loved it. She's a big horror fan as well and loves all of this stuff. And we will just sit around and have our own horror movie marathon and everything, and just stay up all night and just binge on lots of old horror films and everything. Yeah, it's great fun.
Now, like going to like your decapitation and cremation, I'm not going
Yeah.
to ask you how you pull it off, but I mean, yeah,
Mhm.
boy, that would be really. I would think as an outsider, it'd be really hard to pull off.
Well, yeah. I mean, yes and no. Well, here's the thing about magic and illusion. It's sometimes it is. I mean, it's like in one way, it's like music. There's a certain amount of notes like in magic and illusion techniques, and when you know how to put them together, you know how to achieve something. Like you would know how to write a certain kind of song, and in this case, yes, it's meant to appear to be something that just could never happen, to be unreal. And for me those illusions like that, I love the visual, a good visual, because it's a visual art, and that kind of a visual to the audience is exactly what I like to give them, because it's kind of visceral in that way, where you're seeing somebody cremated and there's flame shooting up out of the coffin and she's screaming and everything, and at the end there's nothing left but a smoldering skeleton, and then so many of them are smiling and dancing, and then bang, they bring her right back, but it's like, I don't bring her back. That's the end of the show. Bang, good night, everybody. That's
So everybody's
I
wondering,
leave them with that.
hey,
Yeah,
did he pick somebody up off the street to do that, and then they're gone? No, I'm sorry.
hmm but getting back to that, I mean, it's more interesting and more fun if you don't know how it's done. I mean, for me, I have to, because I'm doing it, But it's like it's funny because it's like special effects live, and when you see special effects and even the featurettes of a film that will explain how they did all of the effects in a movie and stuff like that, it doesn't always take the mystery out of it. But with magic and illusion and that live theatrical experience, it does, because of the kind of the way we hide the technique and technology. I mean, that's the nature of illusion, is that it's that methodology is hidden, and it's hidden for your entertainment pleasure, and that's the way it should be. There are people that use it in various ways to deceive people and build a lot of money and things. But in this case, it is meant purely is a entertainment device and storytelling, and it's more fun for the audience if you don't know how it's done, and that's why I try and take you out of that analytical mode by giving it the style that I do. I want people to sit there and not ask how he did that. I want them to ask themselves why he did that.
Oh yeah. So
yeah, that's the more interesting question.
Well, Ron, how long does it take you to perfect some of those acts you do?
Well, sometimes years. I mean, you come up with something and you put it together, and you put your own touch to it, or create it all yourself. And then the next step is you rehearse the hell out of it. And then beyond that, then at some point you just got to get it out there on stage. And because sometimes, and a lot of times, that effect, that material, that new stuff in the show, it's like a stand-up comedian. It doesn't come to life until you put it in front of an audience and get that live feedback, and between that and then recording that, getting a video of that, so I can sit back in the director's seat and go, okay, this is, something that with the look or the feel or the blocking or something else will occur to me on what to change. But those pieces kind of, the best ones evolve over time. I may change the music, I may change the staging, I might actually go on and tinker with the prop, and then the way it's presented to an audience, to get the maximum kind of reaction, that I want that impact to have on an audience. That then, after you create it all and rehearsed it, you take it out and you put it on stage, and that could, take, months or years, as that material then develops and actually evolves, because of the audience feedback and because of what I want to, get out of it in the way of impact and effect, and so that'll be adjusted over time. So it can be a long road. I mean, at some point you want to pull the trigger and you want to get, you're itchy to get something new into the show. But, every time when you roll something out in the beginning, it always looks so much better and different in ways, as you look at it later in the evolution of that piece of material, that illusion and that part of the show. So it is, for me, it's always a process. It's a work in process. It's like, it's like an oil painter. They can tinker with that thing for years. At some point you got to call it done. But, it is fascinating to me to see how, as you let your material live and breathe on stage and let it go. And I worked at a lot, kind of how a lot of stand-up comedians work, how they go out and work it, in front of an audience and then move it around as to even where it is within the routine and everything, to see how it affects the impact and see, exactly how strong that piece is.
Well, Ron, have you ever had something go major wrong doing one of your acts?
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, major. Instead of people going, ooh, they want to, I hate to say it, to laughter.
Well, it's I mean, when you're dealing with magic and illusions, there's props, and anytime there's mechanical things and there's props, inevitably something will go wrong. It's just, there's no two ways about it. You do it long enough, something will break, something will be missing, something will go wrong, and that's going to happen at some point in front of a live paying audience. And the thing is, if you're a seasoned performer like myself, you're going to sit back and be able to have a little fun with it, acknowledge it, and then move the hell on. As long as you're not sweating it, as long as you're not having a hard time with it, the audience won't either. They know that things can go wrong too, and sometimes it can be fun. It can be a funny moment in the show. Sometimes you just push that thing off stage and you just roll into the next effect because you don't want to disrupt the show with it. But you're going to have those moments. It's inevitable that even though you can meticulously go over and make sure everything's set up and ready to go, sometimes, mechanically something can go wrong. I've rolled out something.
Uh-oh. Okay. We lost him just there. Let's see if we can get him right back.
Exactly. And then it's just like, okay,
we're
pushing, and we're moving on, So you just have to do it like that. But things have gone wrong. And even doing the razor blades, they're real razor blades. I've cut myself on stage. I've even, just demonstrating that they're real razor blades, I've even, cut my hands and stuff. And one time I was bleeding all over the stage. I stopped after I was done because of bleeding on all the props. And I asked, and some lovely young woman came out of the audience with a Band-Aid for me.
Oh, wow.
and this happened at a horror convention. So if anybody ever had any thoughts as to the validity, the reality of those razor blades and how sharp they were, they certainly found out.
Oh,
Things will go that way.
Yeah, things can go wrong. I know, like when I first got the show here back about 5 months ago, no matter how much we sat there, I had the engineer over here, we set everything up. Worked perfect, right? Worked perfect the first week. I think the second week I went on the air and then I pushed the button and smoke started coming out of the thing and I going, oh, wow, and then I started really panicking, and I hate to say it. I had to cut the show down to about 15 minutes because everything was frying right in front of me. But I mean, things can happen no matter, what you do, what I do, it's just, oh, well, you just move on and try to do better next time and hope it doesn't happen again, but it will.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's inevitable. I mean, things are going to go sideways sometimes, and you just have to be able to, kind of effectively and graciously deal with them, with some humor, hopefully, as well, and deal with them. But, when things are on fire or something like that, sometimes you have to deal quickly and efficiently, too. So, but, yeah, you're absolutely right. It's like we were talking about, before we ever got to the show, and your video you have on your Facebook page, you were talking about how you had some wranglings, getting the studio together and getting everything, set up and ready to go for the new slate of shows you have coming up. So yeah, it'll do that. It'll most certainly do that. So, but, it's like I say, anything mechanical, especially, and otherwise, we just have to be prepared, right?
Oh yeah. So I won't ask you how do you do the cremation one, but I mean, it sounds pretty dangerous, actually.
It can be. It certainly can be. I mean, any illusion where you're dealing with fire, or something sharp or dangerous in any way, if you're submerged underwater, and I've done, water escapes, in my past as well, any of those things are dangerous, and you have to really prepare, and you have to be ready for things. It's like anytime we're doing, the cremation and things like that, there's lots of training where we know, myself and everybody else involved in the illusion knows what they're doing and how to handle that. There's always a fire extinguisher nearby. There's always, safeguards and everything you can, think of, you can and will. But, I have burned myself doing that and everything too. So it's tricky. You have to be, on top of that anytime you're using fire. If you ask any fire performer, inevitably they've been burned, many times. I have so many friends and know so many people that have done, fire juggling, fire eating, things like that in their performances. And they've had the same experience. And it's like, if you're going to work with something like that, eventually, you're going to get on, the wrong end of it. And, the thing to do is have enough experience where that's not, anything bad, that, it's like, okay, there it is. And then now we're going to roll on.
Do you think,
so it is actually a little dangerous, but obviously we have experience with it and we know what we're doing, but I tell you what, you want to see, it's in Dark Realm, so if you want to see that thing, take a look at the movie again if you're out there.
I'm going to on Friday night. Friday night, that's what I'm going to do.
I can't wait to see what you think of it with all of your experience and all the people you talk to and the things that you like. I think you're going to love it. You have to give me your feedback after you get a look at it.
Oh yeah, I think either Friday, Saturday night. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go on and watch it and feel a part of it. Do you ever notice, do you ever have anybody in the audience actually sitting there waiting for you to get hurt or anything while you're performing or anything like that? Or have you ever noticed that?
Not
at all?
Particularly like that. I think really the audience is always really on your side. I mean, sometimes you could take it into a venue where they didn't exactly show up just to see you. They're there to see a bunch of things. But even in those circumstances, I just find that and this is something that most entertainers, especially younger entertainers, need to get in their head and keep in their head, is that the audience is on your side. They want to see a good show. They want to see stuff happen. But you've got to be in control of that. You've got to be, in command of what you're doing in your show, or you're part of that show. So I don't find that a whole lot of people are out there waiting for, something to fall apart or go wrong or somebody to get hurt so much. Even though they're there to see, in one sense, they're there to see exactly that. But like I said, it's like the safety of a horror film. There's